The invisible network. When you walk through the forest, you aren't just walking among trees, you are standing on the surface of a single gigantic, thinking organism. Beneath your feet, a biological internet decides over life and death, while we believe ourselves to be the smartest beings on the planet. Welcome to the world of Lyra, where today, we seek the message to the soul not in the sky, but deep within the earth. Think of the world's largest living thing. You probably think of the blue whale, with its 30-meter length and 190 tons. Impressive, right? But what if I told you that this massive animal is just a speck of dust compared to what hides beneath the forests of Oregon? There, deep in the Blue Mountains, lives the Armillaria ostoyae, a dark honey fungus. We aren't talking about a forest full of mushrooms, but a single, genetically identical organism. This giant spans nearly 965 hectares. To give you a sense of scale, that is more than 1,600 football fields. If we dug it up, it would weigh more as much as 3 blue whales combined. It creates a silent, unseen bridge between the roots, whispering chemical secrets from one tree to another, nourishing the weak or reclaiming the dying back into itself. And the most shocking part? It has been breathing and watching down there for at least 2,400 years, though some estimates suggest 8,000 years. When ancient civilizations were only just being born, this consciousness was already there in the soil. The invisible architects, the brain of the forest. Many have heard the term wood wide web, but most imagine it as a passive copper wire beneath the ground. This, however, is a mistake. The mycelium is not the cable, it is the intelligence itself. Fungal threads, known as hyphae, weave through the soil more densely than the synapses of the human brain. In a single cubic centimeter of forest soil, there are kilometers of these threads. And what makes it even more extraordinary, this network makes decisions. It doesn't just transport nutrients randomly. The mycelium senses which tree is sick and which one needs support. It is capable of restraining wild growth and, with the help of mother trees, pumps sugar and phosphorus into weak saplings that cannot reach sunlight due to the dense canopy. It remembers past droughts and optimizes its paths, solving complex geometric puzzles to find the most efficient way to sustain the collective. It is a living, breathing algorithm of survival. This network is the empathy of the forest. Mycelium knows no selfishness. It is responsible for the balance of the entire ecosystem. If a tree is cut down, the network tries to keep the stump alive for days or even weeks, sending messages and energy as if it cannot let go of its companion. This is nature's answer to isolation. In the deep, no one is ever alone. Fungal communication, 50 words beneath the silence. When we speak of intelligence, we tend to associate it with a central brain. But what if the brain is not an organ, but a state of being? The mycelium network possesses no gray matter, yet it functions in a hauntingly similar way to our own nervous system. In recent studies, researchers placed electrodes into various fungal species, and what they found has fundamentally shaken the foundations of biology. Fungi send electrical impulses along their hyphae, exactly like neurons communicating in the human brain. But the shocking part is this: these impulses are not random noise. They travel in rhythmic waves, adjusting their frequency based on the nutrients found or the threats encountered, creating a primitive yet effective form of consciousness. Mathematical analyses have shown that these spikes organize into patterns that structurally resemble human language. Approximately 50 different words or signal clusters have been identified, which fungi use to convey information about their environment. For instance, if one edge of the network is attacked, be it by an insect or a trampling foot, distant parts of the network are notified of the danger within minutes and trigger chemical defense reactions. This discovery forces us to redefine silence. The forest, which we perceive as still and mute, is actually the stage for a continuous, feverish discourse. Trees and fungi exchange billions of sentences every single minute. It is a choir of the soil, a symphony where every vibration counts, and where the survival of the whole depends on the clarity of the message. Communication and connection are universal laws. They exist even where there are no vocal cords, no ears, and no tongue. Perhaps the soul itself is not a solitary spark, but a similar network of invisible ties. If fungi are capable of maintaining the balance of an entire ecosystem for millennia with just 50 words, perhaps we too should learn once again to listen to the unspoken words in our own human relationships. The end of the individual, you are part of the network. One of modern humanity's greatest pains is isolation. We believe that we end at our skin and that we fight the world alone. But the world of mycelium shows us that the concept of the individual is merely a biological simplification. Think of a mushroom. What do you see? Likely just a cap in the leaf litter. But that is like trying to understand a human being based only on their fingerprint. The cap is merely the reproductive organ of the network, scattering spores, while the true being, the mycelium, invisibly weaves through the world. And here is the twist: this network does not stop at the edge of the forest. There are more microorganisms living in the human body than there are our own cells. Billions of fungi and bacteria aid your digestion, protect your skin, and according to some research, even influence your mood and decisions. You are not an island in the ocean, you are a walking ecosystem. Biology calls this a holobiont. Every breath you take is a shared miracle, a silent negotiation between your lungs and the invisible kingdoms that inhabit you. A cluster of cooperating beings that you mistakenly call I. When we look at mycelium, we see our own reflection. Fungal threads do not compete with one another for survival. They know that if one part of the network dies, it leads to the weakening of the entire organism. The boundaries we draw between us and nature exist only in our minds. The message becomes personal here. Loneliness is merely a sensory illusion. Biologically and spiritually, you are tied to every living thing by 1,000 threads. We are the fruit of a vast subterranean intelligence that has been perfecting the art of coexistence for eons. If you destroy your environment, you destroy yourself. If you help the person next to you, you strengthen your own network. The mycelium mind teaches us that egocentric thinking is an evolutionary dead end. True intelligence lies in connection. The network of the future, biological AI and healing. While we look to silicon-based chips for salvation, nature created the perfect computer millennia ago. Mycelium doesn't just communicate, it solves problems. If a fungal network is placed in a maze with nutrients at the exit, it can find the most optimal path, behaving exactly like an algorithm. It possesses a decentralized memory, learning from every obstacle it encounters without the need for a single line of code. The technology of the future is not being built against nature, but in collaboration with it. Biological AI. Engineers are already working on living computers that use mycelium for data processing, as its distributed intelligence is more efficient and energy-saving than today's server farms. By mapping the electrical spikes of fungal hyphae, we are learning to bridge the gap between organic thought and digital logic, creating a hybrid future that breathes. The planet's immune system. Fungi can break down plastics and even radioactive waste. They are nature's janitors. If we learn to cooperate with them through bioremediation, we can heal wounds on Earth that we previously thought were irreversible. Mushroom bricks and living architecture. Prototypes already exist for buildings grown from mycelium. These materials are stronger than concrete, fireproof, and simply compost at the end of their life cycle. Imagine cities that don't leave behind mountains of trash, but instead nourish the soil. Bioremediation, the omnivorous healer. Fungi can consume crude oil, heavy metals, and some species even convert radioactive radiation into energy. This is not science fiction. Fungi were found on the walls of the Chernobyl reactor, feeding on the radiation. This is nature's response to our destruction. The mycelium is ready to heal the planet if we finally let it work. It is an ancient alchemy, turning our most toxic legacies back into the building blocks of life. Returning to the dark forests of Oregon and the 965-hectare giant, what is the message this being sends us? Perhaps that true power lies not in speed or individual brilliance, but in endurance and cooperation. In the silence of the forest floor, we find the blueprint for our own survival, a reminder that we are only as strong as the connections we choose to nurture. The future of perception, a new alliance with the invisible. The fungus does not seek to rule the forest. It is the servant of the forest. It feeds the trees, decomposes the dead, and carries news to the most distant corners. Next time you walk through the woods, stop for a moment. Feel the ancient intelligence pulsing beneath your feet. Remind yourself, you are part of a vast, invisible family. Loneliness is only the surface. In the deep, we are all one. Are we ready to not just look at nature, but to truly listen to it? We have spent centuries trying to conquer the wild, failing to realize that we were merely shouting into a mirror, deaf to the wisdom that was here long before our first words were spoken. Until now, we have viewed fungi as secondary characters in the forest. But the recognition of the mycelium mind brings about a paradigm shift that fundamentally rewrites biology and ethics. If a global intelligence network pulses beneath the ground, we can no longer view nature merely as an exploitable raw material. The most important question here: are we ready to give up our obsession with control and learn from an intelligence far more ancient than our own? The future lies not in building more machines, but in learning once again to breathe together with living networks. This is true consciousness, recognizing meaning even where we once heard only silence. Ultimately, we don't save the earth, we learn to belong to it. Thank you for being with me today. If this message touched you, please subscribe and turn on the notification bell so we can meet again. If there is someone for whom this could be a healing word right now, please share it with them.